Hello. This is part 4. I told you we were going to have a part 4. Wasn't quite sure. Thought I might could have finished in 3, but nah. We're going to go into part 4. Actually, it's almost a part within a part because we're talking about Raised to Rule series, and this is the last of the 4 for now. We will be talking about this in the future. There's so much more to share. But let's get right into it because I don't want to miss a step. We will ask you to go back to 3 to catch up with these scriptures here, but hopefully you'll go to 1 because it does proceed and it helps us to get a base and balance. In all things, we do them in order. So let's now go to Esther, back to the book of Esther, and we're going to go to chapter 5. And that's our last scripture that we read in part 3. And I want to start there and then bring you into part 4. Esther 5:1. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. And what I was bringing out in our last teaching was this, that we will rule and reign with Yahusha, that he is the King of Kings, and he will be that one that will rule, and we will be the princes of the earth. Why we're hated is because Satan knows this. That's why you carry that DNA of the Spirit. That's why you do what you do so well and yet don't understand it. Why our youth are stirred and bothered. They have rulership within them, but it's not been groomed. But Yah says, as you come to me, I am grooming you to rule. I am raising you up, YAHUAH says, to reign. Let's go back to Esther again, 8 and 7 to 8, 7 to 10. I want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen to our enemy, because the book of Esther is about you. And the king, verse 7, Esther, chapter 8, verse 7. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen. And you know the story. Mordecai was to be hung. He hated all the Jews. He wanted them, all the Israelites, I should say. He wanted them to be killed. He wanted to do that. And he was found out. And so now he's begging for his life. Let's continue. For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. That king found out he was trying to wipe out his wife's people. That made him angry. Then the king returned out of the palace garden to the place of the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed wherein Esther was. Now, they had long, like loungers when they ate, they laid upon. So he's thrown himself for mercy on this lounger where the queen is, all right? And this is where the king finds him. And then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in this house? As the word went out of the king's mouth. Now, see, the folks that worked with the king already knew this was a no-go zone here. They already started walking towards this guy to grab him. The king didn't even have to turn around and nod. They just knew. Those messengers already know. They know Yah's mind. And they will reap. And they will separate in this in-harvest time. Don't you doubt it. And it goes on to say, because it's talking about what's going to happen in the end. This is prophetic. Listen to this. So they made their way, his people, and they covered Haman's mouth. They put a sack or something over his head. They covered him up. He wasn't even supposed to look on the king no more. When you fail, you're not supposed to look on the king. People that's fallen out of the graces of Yah and decide that hell is their home, they ain't going to look upon him. They won't see him. but they don't know he was there. Listen to this. They covered his face, and Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold also, he's telling on him, the gallows in the house of Haman. Look, he done built something in there. And then the king said unto him, let me go back. Said before the king, behold, the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, which was her uncle who had raised Esther. And Mordecai is also a type of holy, set-apart spirit who is in us to raise us up to royalty, who brought us up as a child and helped us to understand that we need to walk in the precepts of the Torah, of the commandments. It is the schoolmaster, I should say the word actually, who had spoken good for the king. There you go, he's spoken good for the king. Standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Listen, the enemy has prepared your doom, Yahsarelites, but he will hang on his own hellfire gallows. And all those who conspired and agreed or did nothing about it with him. Again, this is not our fight. It's Yahuah's. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. And this will be when our king's wrath is satisfied and pacified, when he sees an end to our enemies. And not until then. Let's go to St. John 14, 1 through 3. 14, John 1 through 3. Let not your heart, Yahsarelites, be troubled. That's who he's talking to. Nobody there but Yahsarelites, Yehudis. Ye believe in Elohim, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many places where you will rule. That's what he's talking about when he says mansions. He's not looking at no stone and brick and mortar places where you look at my castle, look at my no. You reaching too low. You're reaching way too low. He's going to establish his people in the earth. You will have territories and places that you will be the head of and report strictly to the king. You will rule. He knows that. Satan knows it very well. Listen to this. If it were not so, if it wasn't going to come to pass, I would have said, this is not going to happen. I wouldn't even mention it to you. Because Yah is not a man that he should lie about anything. You don't have to. I go to prepare a place. What? A place for you. What do you think? You just sit around on the lounge all day and do nothing, play your harp? No. Your place is a place of rulership. Your place is your own place within the kingdom of the Most High, that you will rule. And listen, I'm not finished. Listen to this. And if I go to prepare a place for you, if I go there to do this, and I'm going, because I'm going to go to this tree, and I'm going to die the death, and I'm going to go and take this blood to the mercy seat in heaven. And at that time, I'm going to have prepared a place for you to rule with me, because I'm going to send you the Comforter. Oh, come on now. I will come again. I don't want to skip. Prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again. In other words, I'm not doing this in vain. I'm not doing this in vain. I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, which he is going, because he didn't die for nothing. He died to take this order back and place it back under the will of Yah. through Yahusha and the bride of the Lamb. Well, I'll get back into that in a minute. I want to get back into that so bad. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. There's going to be a great coronation. Hallelujah. In the heavens. That where I am. I love it. I have to do a little bit of that. There. Right where I am. It doesn't say there. It's italicized. I like to scratch that out because that's something man put in there. That's something a translator put in there. It says, where I am, you may be also. Are you in Yahusha? Because you've already started reigning. In a sense, in the spiritual sense, you've already started. Let's go a little further. Isaiah 32:1. Isaiah 32:1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. There you see it. The king is Yahusha, shall reign in righteousness. And we, Yahsarelites, are the princes. And we also shall rule. We will rule in judgment. We're going to be judging the nations because they're going to be on this earth, don't you see? There are nations that Yah will judge, and those that have met the criteria of the conscience of the law that's written on conscience will be here. That's why all this stuff running around, go tell everybody about Yahusha. No. Everybody, listen, everybody is not going to be judged on the same base that Yahusha is. And I'm going to teach on that one shortly because you need to understand the judgments. We're not taught that. We're going to learn it. Paul talks about it in Romans, if you want to jump ahead of me and start reading. All right. So let's go down there. It says Revelation 21, 1-3. So you see princes and princesses, or just princesses, rulers. Princess, in other words, saying ruler. Revelation 21, 1-3. And I, John, saw the holy or set apart city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of heaven. Woo! You're talking about a moving day. Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great, great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them. He will dwell here on the earth through Yahusha, and it will be over men. And these people will be from all nations. Oh, yes, they will. In fact, the nations are invited to the wedding. But y'all say, you can't come in there any kind of way to the wedding. For those who have not been given law, the right from wrong will be judged accordingly. But to Yahusha, he's looking for those who have obeyed his commandments. And when I say that, I mean it. The commandments are not done away with, but it is not for you to decide dates and holidays and things, holy days you call them. It is for him. You must obey that you can while you're in the land of your captivity. There is a harness on us, in a sense, that we cannot participate the way we did when the temple was there in Jerusalem. And you must understand that, because that's where his name was, and that was the only place designated for certain rites and rituals. Learn it. Let's go on. He saw this bride coming, and he heard this voice saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them and be their Elohim. Galatians 3:24-37 says, Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster. Now, he ain't talking to nobody else but Yahsarelites, because the law wasn't given to nobody else but the Yahsarelites. That's what people don't understand. The law was our schoolmaster to bring us into Mashiach, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith is come on now, we are no longer under schoolmaster. So wait a minute. It was to bring you to faith in Yahusha. Now that you have faith in Yahusha, you don't need the schoolmaster, because the schoolmaster resides inside of you now. It's not outside. You have been given a new heart through the work of Yahusha. Your heart obeys, not your eyes on stone. I taught that to you before. Because when your eyes are on stone, your heart is stony. But when your eyes have been transformed, when your mind has been transformed, obedience has transcended the stone and come to abide within. How do I know what to do? The to-doer is inside of me. And I'm letting him have the reign. Listen to this. It says, but after that faith is come, you no longer are under schoolmaster, for ye are all the children of Elohim by faith in Mashiach Yahusha. For as many as you as have been baptized into Mashiach have put on Mashiach. And has made us unto our Elohim. I want you to look at Revelation 5:10. Only got one more after this, and I'm going to rest my word here, the teaching that Yah has given us. Let's go to Revelation 5:10. I'm going to stipulate this again through the word, not through my imagination. And has made us unto our Elohim kings and priests. Well, we wouldn't be priests if there wasn't anyone else on the earth but us. Because kings have rulership. Priests connect us to Yah. And that was the whole point in the beginning, was to bring everything under YAHUAH. That's what Yahusha is going to complete when he puts that one foot in the sea and one on the earth and takes that scroll in his hand. Ooh, I can't wait. Last verse for today. 1 Peter 2:9, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. 1 Peter 2:9. But ye are a chosen generation. Oh, yes, you are. A royal priesthood. You are a set-apart nation, Yahsarel. And see, the church took that for them. But this was talking to you, Yahsarel. A peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of, there's that word I was talking about earlier, darkness. Darkness. Go back and listen to the second one in the series. Darkness. It means you don't understand. You don't see in the darkness. You don't comprehend in the darkness. But Yahusha has come, and he says, set us to understand. That lack of knowledge would not be a hindrance any longer. We would know. For knowledge, he says, in the end time will go what? To and fro. People think that's the information age. No. He's talking about the knowledge of Yahusha. The knowledge of YAHUAH. That's what he's talking about. That knowledge has come. We can get on the internet. We can go to libraries. We can study. There was a time when our ancestors couldn't even read. We would be killed or beaten. But we are now able to read. We are now able to go and search out the scriptures and see what Yah has said. in its totality before the Nicene Council took it out, took the books out. We can go back and read them instead of fighting the word. Why do you fight what does not disagree with what's already written? Why stay ye in ignorance? Why stay ye blind? For the blind leading the blind will both fall in the ditch. You is called out of darkness into his marvelous light. Yahsarel, you are the lights of the world. Don't let nobody fool you. You are the lights. You know, it's a shame to have a target on your back and you don't even know it. When you understand who you are, you can understand the hate. When you understand who you're going to become in this earth, you can understand the venom coming straight through Satan's forked tongue, through the people he has ordained to do his bidding. And the ignorant ones who don't know no different. People hate you and don't know why. It's because of the prince of the air and the influence he has placed there. It's him that's stroking the fires. There's no need for you to walk around hating on folk when you know Satan's stroking the fires of hatred in the hearts of weak, wicked, and evil men. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know, maybe if I was on that end of the spectrum, I might be a little angry and hate you myself. I pray that never comes to be. But why did I bring this out? Because personally, I wanted to encourage you with all the things that we're hearing today with our government, politics, weather patterns, mass shootings, people falling out of faith, probably, you know, so many different things that is encompassing us right now. And I believe that's the reason why Yah allowed me to see Esther and understand his plan for his people to rule and reign. And why we're going through the desert times. We're on our way to the stream. We're on our way to the vast oasis of heaven. We don't have to sit up and shake in our boots and worry, but we do have to be careful. We do have to be prayerful. We do have to seek knowledge. This is a seeking time. He said, if you seek, you know, seeking is like hunting. You know, you got to go looking for it. You got to go, you know, archaeologists, you know, I just really admire how they go and dig into ruins and tells and take them apart, and how they go down into these layers and find all of this valuable historical information that they can relate back to us to tell us how the people lived at that time. Well, it's the same with the word, only better. There's a lot that has been hidden from you and I. Most of it was out of ignorance, a lot of it was on purpose, but the on purpose part was mostly because Satan was manipulating people to do his bidding, like he did Herod to kill the children under 2 years old when Yahusha was born. These are mad men who Yah can use. He can always use somebody crazy. He can always use somebody who thinks they're something they're not. He can always use some kind of people who think they're better than somebody else. Thinks that they are supreme. And that's what's going on now. But if you were supreme, you wouldn't be acting so low. So you're not supreme. That right there tells you they're not the ruling class. Yah says that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And I'm telling you this, the last is about up and the beginning of the first is upon us. I want to encourage you. I want to define for you who you really are and begin to share it. Don't get into the rhetoric. You're wasting time. Don't get into the payback. Don't get into that. That's what Satan is desiring of you. Don't be so depressed over what's going on with the people that are being killed, our own black people, many of them, and some white people are being killed too, don't forget. These people don't have the devil don't care who he annihilates. He got no favorites. He just, when he uses man, he spit on, wipe his nose, and fling it out somewhere. He don't care about nobody. He's a hard taskmaster. But they will regret agreeing with him. You don't have to agree with him. And I want to just use this time to say, if whoever you are out there who sees this as truth, then you need to acknowledge it. Get on your knees, ask forgiveness, and receive his blessing. Receive his people and be a part of this end time gathering, because it is upon us. And we don't have that much time. The clock is ticking. And there will be a rude awakening each day. We'll be building up to the next day. And the next day, as Yahusha said, is a woman in labor. The pains get stronger and closer together. He said that would take place in the end times. Matthew 24. Start reading. Start understanding. Through the Spirit and not the flesh. And you will be safe. Until next time, go with Yahusha. Why? You keep his commandments and he'll always go with you. Till next time.